At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the OPTAVIA team.
So our topic today is health is a matter of the heart. And we'll just keep introducing ourselves over and over so you really know who we are. So my name is Holly Brock. I'm a pediatric physician assistant and an independent certified OPTAVIA coach.
And my name is Dr. Matthew Brock. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician and a certified OPTAVIA coach.
And we are so lucky and so blessed today that we are also going to be co-hosting this Zoom webinar with Dr. Joe Pecoraro. And
Yes, that's me. Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Joe Pecoraro, vascular and general surgeon by trade, OPTAVIA certified coach also. And for those of you who are new, just know that
Dr. Joe, I'm sorry, you're still on mute. You're on mute on my camera, but I can hear you.
I'm unmuted on my side.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right, there you are. Now I can see you too. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So vascular and general surgeon, I'll say it again if nobody else heard, certified OPTAVIA coach. Those of you who are new, to hopefully give you hope.
Yeah, so Dr. Joe's been doing this a long time. So we're so excited to hear from him as well. And what better time to do cardiovascular health than right before Valentine's Day? So huge pun on the words, that heart and health and Valentine's Day. And I think Joe was saying that he actually hosted a Zoom webinar for OPTAVIA exactly a year ago, right around Valentine's Day. So they really like to get this cardiothoracic surgeon for Valentine's Day. So that's perfect. So let's start right away. Let's jump right into a poll. This is our first poll of the evening.
All right. Okay, everyone. On average, how many days does it take to install a new habit? 33 days, 66 days, 99 days, or 132 days? Go ahead and press that button that matches what you think.
And Dr. Joe, you were, let's see. So Dr. Joe knows a lot about these habits. And he clarifies that it's on average. Some habits take a long time to develop over time. Some you can get right away going on. So think about that. It's on average. Not every single habit is going to take as long as other ones.
And you know, Matt and Holly, I'm sure you remember, they used to tell us it was 21 days that it took to develop a habit, but that has changed because people have found that that's not really the case anymore, because you notice 21 was not even one of the numbers in that poll.
I did. Right. What's funny is when I was first reading this in the Habits of Health book with Dr. A, right away, I'm like, oh, I know the answer. It's 21. I hear it on the radio all the time when the radio tries to get you people going on new habits. So I think it'd be interesting to see what everyone else said, what they're thinking, because I had the 21 in my head too when I first read this in the book. So what did everyone else say for the answer? What does everyone think? Let's see if we get those poll results in.
Here we go. Okay, guys, here's the results. Most of you voted 66 days.
Which is great. So you guys are doing your homework. You're reading your book.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yep, 66 days on average. So you have to put the effort in when you're developing a new habit. Yeah. So that's awesome that you guys are seeing that. So definitely putting in care and taking your time. So that's great. So yeah, 66 days. That's perfect. Well, let's go ahead and get into our topic today. We're going to be talking about, like we talked about, cardiovascular health. And as we always say, we're going to go through the mindset, setting your priorities first around what matters most. So when you set your goals, it's really important to prioritize, and you don't want to do too many habits at one time.
Right.
And then do you have the skill set to work on this habit? You don't want to put a goal too high with something that you're not capable of.
Right.
And then the action. I always love this in the life book. They always ask, okay, now that we did this, what are you going to do?
Exactly. You got to put time on it. Otherwise, there's no action, right?
Right. Just
Yeah,
like Craig
absolutely.
Blanchett said last week, you have to put a finish line to the race, because you're not going to know you won the race if you have no finish line.
Exactly.
So that's
Yeah.
really awesome. So let's get right into what Dr. A says.
Yeah. So I love this quote. All things are possible if we are willing to use the process of microhabit installation. And that's out of your life book on page 91. Now, I love the classic example of, I'm ready, I'm motivated, I'm ready to have a change in my life. And so we have a goal. Then there's the classic example Dr. A uses where the guy gets up at 3 a.m. in the morning, puts his running shoes on and tries to, run 3 miles and just breaks down and ends up setting himself way back. So what I love about Dr. Anderson is he teaches us to use small, appealing habits that we can do every day on those days where our self-will is just not maybe as high as it could be, but it makes it still possible where you can make that choice. So 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, you're there. You can make it if you just choose that choice every day.
Yeah. And you definitely don't want to burn out. You don't want to overdo it and make something too big. And then especially with cardiovascular health, you have to start things slow. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to overdo things. So this is super important with just the micro habits, like Dr. A always reminds us in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, guys, I want to read a sobering statistic to you guys. Heart disease in the United States, it is the leading cause of death for men, women, and people of most racial and ethnic groups in the whole country. One person dies every 36 seconds from a cardiovascular event. 655,000 Americans die from heart disease every year. That's 1 in every 4 deaths. That is incredibly sobering. Dr. Joe, speak into that a little bit, being a vascular surgeon.
Yeah, and this is so important because this is the ongoing pandemic. Mm-hmm. This is not something that just showed up a year ago, December. This is something that's been going on for years in this country. Heart disease has been the #1 killer for a long time. And I calculated it out. Every 36 seconds means just during this half hour, 50 people are going to die. And we can talk about that as statistics, but it's more than statistics. It's people's lives. So when we say that health is a matter of the heart, yeah, it's a catchy phrase and that's really nice and all that. But really, it's a matter of your physical heart and the disease that comes with poor health. But by the same token, it affects family, it affects friends, it affects loved ones. So it's a matter of those we care for as well. I mean, everyone wants their family and friends and loved ones to be healthy. So it is a matter of the heart. And we hope that those of you who listen to these every week realize how important health really is.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Breast cancer for women, it gets so much publicity with the pink ribbons and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But the fact is that heart disease actually kills more women in America than breast cancer does. Yeah. And it's just not getting as much attention. And that's why I want to do this webinar today, is just to really stress, this is huge. We don't just do OPTAVIA to look good and vanity and, get some smaller clothes. You're actually taking care of your body. You're taking care of what you can't see. And not many people are like, I want to go on OPTAVIA for my heart health. But it's a huge benefit. And that's why this is a long-term thing. Doing the Your Life book is so important.
Right.
So we can have longevity with our health, not just some weight loss.
Right.
So this is so important.
Absolutely. Let's move more into this with statistics, sobering statistics. The higher the BMI, so I'm not going to read verbatim this slide. What it's basically showing us as your BMI increases, so 5 to 7% of men and women. So basically what it's saying is as your BMI, let's say you have somebody with a BMI of 30, that would increase your risk of heart failure by almost 30%. We don't think of these things. And I think today, and I think Dr. Joe would probably agree, most people are over the BMI of 25 and we'd consider that normal, but we don't realize, wow, look at this, my risk of heart failure has increased pretty significantly.
Yeah, the thing is, Matt, is that so many people think normal is the environment that's around them. When somebody is a normal BMI, oftentimes people think they're too thin, and you've probably heard that. In fact, there's probably people on this call tonight that people have told them, oh, you're losing too much weight. Oh, you're getting too thin, when in fact, they're really just getting close to being normal. And when I look at the statistics, I like to look at it in the positive way as well, because just as the increased BMI increases the risk, it also goes the other way. The healthier we become, the lower the risk of heart disease. And that's so important because the heart is not just, heart disease doesn't really just affect the heart. The heart provides circulation to all the organs, and it can affect the kidneys, it can affect the brain and strokes and so many different organ systems, because the heart is really the heart of the matter. I mean, it gets oxygen and blood to every organ.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, taking care of your health, you're taking care of your whole body. You're actually taking care of your whole family. If you're not taking care of your health, you're not taking care of your heart, you're not taking care of your body, who's going to be here for your loved ones? I mean, I know that's sobering as well, but that's huge for so many people. If we're not taking care of us, we're not taking care of our family. And being in pediatrics, so many times I would see kids that were overweight according to their BMI as well. And that's a matter of their environment. You're picking up the habits from wherever you are. In school, they're trying to teach health to kids, but it really is where you're being raised. So if you're on OPTAVIA and you're taking care of yourself, you're setting a good example for those around you. We talk about the ripple effect all the time. Is when you're leading by example, others will be like, wait a second. You know, what is that person doing? And then your kids are going to start noticing, or your kids are going to start stealing your shakes. Like you know, what happens in our house. But I mean, for us, it's that ripple effect, and you want to take care of yourself so you can be here for your loved ones. That's what's so important. So connecting the physical heart with the emotional heart again.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking more into the emotional heart, I'm an internal medicine doctor, and I take care of a lot of chronic illness. And as you get to know patients and have relationships with them, it begins to become, it becomes apparent that there's more than just something physical going on. And, you know, Dr. Anderson made this statement quite boldly, you know, emotional mismanagement might be the leading cause of disease. So are we functioning from that victim triangle where everything is happening to me? Or am I walking from a place of, no, I can actually do something about this, and empowerment, and not blaming, not shaming.
And that all goes into mindset. And that's what we're bringing this back to, is who or what is most important to you. And it goes to your why. It goes to, you know, why you're doing this. How are you going to do this? So looking at those priorities, what's around you, what's important to you, what do you value? And are you willing to make these micro habits to change those things? Is if your well-being and your health is so important, you need to start engaging and be fully engaged in life, fully present, going through that life book. So it's kind of an example of being there for others and just taking care of ourselves so we can be there for our families and our loved ones.
I was interviewing a potential client just a couple of days ago, and I asked her, where do you want to be in 6 months? And she goes, well, or why do you want to be in this program? And she goes, well, I'd like to lose some weight and go on a diet. And I go, let me ask you again, why do you want to do this? And she said the same thing. I go, let me ask you it in a different way. If failure was not an option, what would 6 months from now look like? And there was a silence on the other side of the phone. And she'd never thought about having a victory. Like, what does it look like to actually achieve my goal? This is the mindset that you need to have when you go into the program. You need to know your why. You actually need to see it. Then you have a vehicle, which OPTAVIA gives us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes it everything easy. You don't have to think about what you're going to eat. You have to you do the program, and you can focus on your mindset. You can focus on your emotions.
Right.
That's why I love this.
Absolutely.
You're not your whole day is not wrapped around what you're going to eat. Your whole day is, I'm going to make myself a better person for my family and my future. So this is from Your Life book that I talk about over and over again, is the skill set to develop these micro habits for our heart health. The first thing is it appealing? Do you actually want to do this?
Yeah.
So many people, when we talked about going on the program, you kind of get all the excuses of why it's not going to work. It's like, well, do you want it to work? Because if you want it to work, you'll make it work.
Yeah.
So is your goal even appealing to you? Do you want to do it? Is it achievable? Can you do it? So like Matt was talking about, you wake up the first day at 3 a.m. and you go try to, race 3 miles all out, and you can't do it and you fail. So again, setting achievable goals that you can actually do.
Yeah.
And is it easily activated? Are you going to have a prompt or a reminder for you to do this every day? Some people have an app on their phone that dings like every hour to remind them to drink water if they're not good at remembering to drink water, or they set alarms for their fuel lanes. I've started having people set alarms at a good point of the day when you're not so busy. Set an alarm to do 5 minutes of your life book. Because that's like, I don't have time. Well, can you have a prompt to remind yourself to do it? So is it easily activated? Right. So we have 5 kids. So it's very hard to find time to sit down and do anything. Yeah. So when you're trying to develop a new micro habit, just setting these little steps for yourself. Right. It's so important.
Right. And we're going to go to the next slide here. And Dr. Joe is going to speak more specifically on his experience and his experience with his patients.
Yeah. And the thing is, Matt, that again, we want to clarify that the 66 days is an average.
Right.
And as you were saying, Holly, it has to be simple. It has to be something that you can do and that you have a prompt. So for instance, when I would have vascular surgery patients, and they would love to give me excuses. Well, I can't walk because they would have blockages in their legs from the circulation. And I would say, well, what you can do is you can step out the door, and you can walk to the mailbox and walk back and forth to the mailbox until you know that it's comfortable. Then go halfway down the block and come back. And even myself, when I first started this program, I was more than 300 pounds. Well, I was right around 3, give or take, depending on if I was willing to get on a scale before or after a meal. But what I did is I got started, and I knew that I wanted this to work. So very first day, and this was before we even had the Habits of Health, I couldn't even do one push-up. I would go in the living room and I'd do half a push-up. And then every morning I would do that. And after a while I could do 1, then I could do 2, then I could do 5, then I could push it. And now I can do way more than most 60 somethings can do. I mean, there's a lot of healthy ones of you out there, but way more than I would have ever dreamed I could do. And it's not because I started doing 25 at a time. It's because I started with 1 and I was consistent. And that's what people need to understand. Same with the reading, like you said, Holly. Just read a page if that's all you can read, or even a paragraph. And that paragraph will turn into a page, which will turn into a few pages.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like once you actually get into the life book and you see its value, you're going to want more.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second, I've had a little taste of this is going to change my life. And so you're going to want to read it more. But the thing with the life book too, is you don't want to speed through it. You want to take your time and do the one element, every 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we have our next poll. Everyone get ready. So this is not the right poll. So where will you focus first to improve your heart health? And the options for this one are: focus on losing weight to lower risks of heart disease. Second option, focus on self-care. Third option, start doing more cardio. And fourth option, I am not quite ready yet. And I love the honesty in that fourth one. Like, if just be honest, if you're not ready to start a huge action on heart health, then let us know.
Yeah.
But, and then the start more cardio. Again, we've talked about that gradual. So that doesn't have to be
does not have to be Herculean.
No, Herculean. I love that word. It doesn't have to be going out and doing 10 weighted squats with 80 pounds on your back. But the other two, they're starting to focus on losing weight. If you're already on the OPTAVIA, I mean, that's a goal that most of us are already doing. We're trying to lose weight. But I love how it puts on there specifically to lower risks of heart disease. Because not many of us started OPTAVIA for that purpose. Right. And then focusing on self-care, that's so broad. Like I mentioned, we have 5 kids. So as a mama of 5 kids, and we own our own medical practice, and we do medical missions, and we're busy. Self-care is, I don't know.
It can be.
A little low on my spectrum there. So let's go ahead and see if we have some results from our audience here. There you go. You guys are understanding the topic of today's webinar. Focusing on losing weight to lower the risks of heart disease, 56%. So obviously our heart talk is getting some motivation going here. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. All right, so let's keep on moving here.
Right. And just from that last poll, there is a statistic in the Habits of Health book showing if you lose 10%, it drops your risk of chronic illness by 50%. That is a real evidence-based statistic. And that is totally in our ballpark. We can take control of our lives.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I always love what Dr. A says about, we can pay for it now, or we can pay for it later. So just taking care of our bodies now, taking care of our health now, making priorities, checking. I love the stop, challenge, and choose. That's been amazing for us. Just taking care of those emotions, our physical health. We're going to benefit so much from this in the future. Like, this is like gold. This is amazing. So who wouldn't want to do this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now that we've gone through this, there's these action steps.
Right. So now it brings in the program. And if you want something new in your life, you really need to consider new relationship. And that's where your certified independent OPTAVIA health coach can come in. Discuss your new goals, discuss your new thoughts from tonight, and put them in writing, put them out there. And now you have somebody who can give you a new insight, who can encourage you, can remind you when you hit barriers.
Accountability.
Yeah, go back to the why when it gets hard.
Matt can't stand it. He'll tell me when he has a new goal, like, I want to cut back on my coffee, or I think I'm going to go to decaf. He'll tell me these things, and within a day he regrets it.
Yeah.
Because he's reaching for his second cup of coffee, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. I thought you wanted to cut back on coffee. And it's like, oh, you're really annoying me right now, but you're right. So that's what your coach is there for. We ask our clients sometimes to text us a picture of their goals, or, give us a screenshot of what you're thinking of, write them down. And that way we can kind of cheer them on and hold them accountable.
Right.
So that's an awesome thing to do.
Right. And when you choose your habit, don't choose a bunch right away.
Just one or two.
Do the one and master that. Then go and connect back with your coach and your community about 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it takes, and then go to the next one. Right. You don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Yeah. Again, you don't want to shoot right out from the starting gate, and you don't want to lose your momentum. So you have to pace yourself and start small. One of my best phrases I love is, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And then they use that in the book. And I was like, man, now I look like I'm just always reading this book. But I always use that with our kids as well. And the kids have that weird visual. But it's true. You just have to take things in baby steps.
That's right.
Just small little amounts. And then you will actually hit your goals. And it'll be amazing when you do.
Yeah. So last poll, Dr. Joe, could you read
that? I think we have time for one last poll. And this is like, are you hot, lukewarm, or cold? So hopefully you learned something tonight. And if you did, are you going to implement something that you learned from tonight's community time? Either, yes, I definitely will. Yeah, I probably will. Or no, I'm just not ready yet. And there's no right answer. It's whatever's right for you. And I know we've had, I've had a good time tonight. So those statistics, every time I read them, it just really, it blows me away, really, because it's such a bad situation that our country has. And thankfully, so many people who are on, there's almost 4,500 people on, as really are taking this to heart, no pun intended.
Oh goodness. We're all about the heart. I should have like decorated with hearts in the background today. But what I love about this program is we can do more with this program than we could in a 15-minute appointment.
Oh my.
I mean, we would get, like, you know this, Dr. Joe, we get 15 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 times a year with a patient. It's like, what can we do for their health? We have to cram everything into this 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so this program is just amazing. You have this workbook you can work through. We get to touch base on, a weekly basis and coach. So you can actually really put a dent in someone's health. Oh, are we getting results, Dr. Joe?
Yeah, here we are. 83% of the people definitely will implement something. So that is fantastic. Congratulations, everyone.
Yes,
16% probably will, but 1% just aren't ready yet. And you know what? That's okay, because the timing is right for all of us at different times. Yeah. And so thanks for having me on, you guys. I mean, this was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next half hour too.
Yes. Yeah. So stay tuned.
Don't go over in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. And Dr. Joe's going to stay with us and give us more details of his transformation story. So definitely stick on with us. Go ahead and grab your phones. Everyone always has their phone next to them. So go ahead and grab your phone right now. Text OPTAVIA 30 to 99000. And that way you'll get reminders on Wednesday nights to get logged on, get ready. If you can't watch live, we all understand sometimes life gets busy, especially 5:30, Pacific time. They have the podcasts that you can watch them, and you can also go backwards, and then the YouTube. So I love to put these on when I'm doing mindless activities like laundry and managing a household. And that way I can keep up with what's going on. Because again, with accountability, this is so important to pay attention with the habits of health. And so next week we have Nancy Strauss. She's going to be talking about element 3. How do you create what you want? So who doesn't want to get an action plan for that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely stay tuned next week for that one. And like I said, just hang on here. We're going to have Dr. Joe give us more details. He lost 100 pounds and he's kept it off.
Yeah, let's keep the momentum going, because we discussed a lot of statistics, a lot of concepts. Let's get real and let's talk about some stories where this actually is, you guys can see this and hear the testimonies. And so please stick around. We're going to move right into that right now.
Yeah.
At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining OPTAVIA. But please note that they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.